Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site, and today we're here with Maria Zieba. She is a VP of International Affairs for the National Pork Producers Council here in the United States. So thanks for being with us today, Maria.
Thanks for having me.
Very good. And we're here at World Pork Expo, and this morning you participated kind of in a panel discussion that you had with media talking about lots of topics this morning. And you were talking about West Coast ports and contract negotiations with some of the labor there. I don't know enough. I just know enough to be dangerous, so I'm going to turn it over to you to help people understand what that issue is.
Yeah, so for close to a year now, the West Coast ports, Long Beach, LA, Oakland, Seattle, have been operating, the longshoremen have been working without a contract in place. This has all been done in goodwill between the ports and the longshoremen continuing to work as they deal with their contract negotiations. The contract is split into 4 different areas. We know that there's been some movement in specific areas, but unfortunately the last known movement that we saw was in April. So close to a year now, no contract in place. Things kind of came to a head on Friday as we saw that people became frustrated, got sick, didn't turn up to work, and that really did start creating this backup at the ports, especially for a perishable product like pork.
Right.
So the highest value that we get for our pork products internationally is that fresh pork. If we can get it from the plant to, let's say, a Japanese market, they will pay premium for a product like that. But what happens when you get it to the port and all of a sudden there's somebody that isn't available to move it onto a ship? Well, that means that product is staying there. And you've either got to freeze it or figure out another way to move it off. We haven't been able to figure out another way of moving it off, so likely that product is ending up in a freezer space. That means it's just lost a lot of value and it needs to be sold to a different market because, hey, that Japanese consumer wanted fresh pork. They didn't want frozen pork. And so that's created some issues. We already know we've had a few backups. Unfortunately, to complicate things, you could go through the Panama Canal. Unfortunately, Panama is going through a drought as well.
Oh my gosh, right.
Yes, so you could see why I'm up at night,
Right.
because the dam levels where the water is fed into for the Panama Canals are at their lowest level, historic levels.
Got it.
And so that means that these big, massive boats and ships that are supposed to go through the canal are not operating at full capacity. It means it's increasing that price of shipping. So for our industry, we export close to 25% of our production. Exports are really what has been keeping us afloat as an industry. Now you have Prop 12 layered on, the ports issues, you can't go through Panama Canal as easily. So it's creating this almost perfect storm of events that could impact trade in the long run.
That's a lot to take in, right? And there's probably it's sort of out of our hands, right? I mean, a lot of this, even the backup, is out of our hands because of Mother Nature, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I think, hopefully we can get to a quick resolution here on the West Coast. I know that they're back at the negotiating table, which is always a great sign. But, I think that it's a big enough issue that was mentioned at the White House yesterday during their press conference. So it's certainly something that has not only implications for U.S. pork, but the entire economy as a whole, and hopefully we can see a resolution here soon.
That's the truth. That doesn't just impact U.S. pork. That impacts everybody, right? So, very good. Well, thank you for all the insights today. Really appreciate it. This is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site.